How you doing out there, folks? Yes, it's me again. Yes, it is. The Invisible Man versus Merrick Bank and the Robot. Part 16. So by now, I think most people out there have probably seen one of my videos. I've made more than this, but this is the one, as the Invisible Man. So what I'm going to do, in case this is the first time, that you're viewing one of these videos, now, it's all about harassing phone calls and all the unethical tactics that some of these banks use. And I'm going to be giving you an attorney that I use and everything, and how you can, to protect yourself so you don't have to put up with these harassing calls. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little quick background here. Ree and I have been together for over 40 years. We combined our income, and I paid the bills. Had a lot of credit problems over the years, but right now, this past 8 years, I've been paying our bills on time. So, and Marie's credit was a little bit better than mine. So she got this offer from Merrick Bank in 2018. It was double the credit line, and she wanted it, and she liked it, and oh, she was so happy, because before that, her lack of interest was an all-time low. So we decided she wanted it. I said, okay, we have to, fill in everything. We did it online. So the whole gimmick here was they give you $600 and you make 7 on-time payments and you get another $600. No frills or anything. Okay, so we submitted, and then after, I guess about a week, the cards came, and Marie made me an authorized user. She got a card, I got a card. And we signed the cards, and I activated it over the phone. So everything was ready to go. And I even made a folder, for Merrick Bank. They keep everything in there. So we both used it, no problem. 7 months passed, we get the credit line increase. Everything's still going pretty good. And all of a sudden, Marie starts to get sick. We've been sick off and on, we both have, But I couldn't take care of her, so I got her in the hospital. She had a lot of tests, and the doctors told me she needed to be in a nursing home for long-term care, and that's what she ended up in, a nursing home. The first 4 months, she actually was really doing good. She was looking better, feeling better, everything. And doing my visits there, a couple times she asked me, "Oh, Frankie, you still paying Merrick Bank?" I said, "I sure am." And at Merrick Bank, even with all their, problems, with Alzheimer's and dementia, she still remembered that. So, see, the part of this story is, that's one of the things that, the connection I have with Merrick Bank. Because it's our last, time together, that we spent. And that was a part of it, Now I feel I've been disrespected. So she was in the first 4 months, like I said, everything was going pretty good. Then I noticed in the 5th month, little by little, she started getting, worse and all. I could tell, off and on. I tell all these people that work there, they tell me, "No, don't worry, doctors check her out, nurses are here, and we have everything." I said, okay. I didn't want to say too much because I figured they'll take it out on her, So I was there. I saw she was getting, when I saw this towards the end of the month, I went there like 3 times close together. Like on a Thursday, a Saturday, and a Monday. She was eating and all. She was up. I went to the dining room with her there and everything. Got her back into the room. She seemed okay. I waited a few days and I went back. When I went back, she's in the bed. I went around lunchtime. And she can't even, she's all like knocked out, like she's I guess just can't wake up, like in a stupor. I thought maybe they gave her the drugs, too much medicine or something. I talked to her roommate. Her roommate said she's been like that for a couple of days. She doesn't want to eat. She just wants to sleep like that. So the food came, and let me see what I can do. I tried to get her up. She sat up. She's still, she was still alive. And then she couldn't open her eyes, but she still could respond, I was putting a little food in her mouth, soft. I didn't want to choke her. They'd be very careful. That's probably why they don't want to do anything like that. Those people that work there, they don't want to be responsible, huh? So I gave a little bit of coleslaw, potato salad, I guess applesauce, whatever. I smashed it up real good, make sure. And she real little portion. She swallowed it and all. Some water to wash it down, but she just wanted to sleep, like, you know. So I put her back down, let her get back in the bed, nice and comfortable, turn on her side, and I, kept trying to massage, so I get some circulation, So I massaged her feet. And she said, "Frankie, stop that." I said, "Okay, Marie, then I better let you be." She was quiet though. She wasn't coughing, no congestion, nothing. She was at peace, so I said, "Let me go." I talked to the people before I left, said, "Don't worry, if everything should be all right." I went home. 3 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from the nurse. And the nurse says she passed away. We tried to revive her, we couldn't do it. I said, when I was there 12 hours ago, the visit, she was like that. But the woman says, "I don't know that, I just came on." I said, maybe they would have called, the rescue sooner. He said, "No, we tried everything, it's just no, you just didn't make it." I said, "Okay." So I was so lonesome then, so upset and all. To top it off, all the bills. That means now income was cut in half. I only don't have enough. So I started to try to take care of some of the bills myself. Some of those creditors, I sent letters and I called and different things. Sent cease and desist letters, but it doesn't apply to creditors. That's mostly for debt collectors. I still did it. It didn't seem to work, so I started looking up one of the banks that seemed to be giving me more problem. I looked it up online, and this lawyer popped up. He's a consumer advocate attorney, and I put my name in and all. And he called me back. He said, "Yeah, I can help you with them, Frank. Don't worry. Give me the information. I'm sorry for your loss." And he said, "You can email me everything. Take your time. I need phone logs. I need all the information from the bank, and I'll send you the contract for you to sign." So he let me know. He says, "I don't charge for my service. Consultation's free. If I get you any money, I don't take a percentage either." I said, "Man, that sounds so good." It made me feel a lot better, So he took care of all the accounts, but I was still paying Merrick Bank. So that's this Merrick Bank thing, Still paying them, because I figured, well, I could still use it in the meantime. That was the account that Marie liked so much, And I made her so happy that I tried to pay it. So that's what I was doing for a while, and all the other, everything stopped. The billing stopped, everything stopped. So then I stopped. I stopped paying Merrick Bank. First month, nothing. The statement came in. Then the calls started. They start calling on the landline and the cell phone. I waited a couple of weeks. I'm going to see. I kept track. I had a phone log for each. I contacted the attorney. He said, "Frank, send me the phone log." And it was on the landline and the cell phone. Like I said, I gave him one for each because I had it written down already, which was good. It speeded up everything. He contacted him. First the cell phone stopped, and a couple of days later the landline stopped. So I was happy with that for a while. So a month and a half later, what happens? Merrick Bank starts calling again, this time just on the landline. What does that say? How come? Why not the cell phone? Okay, so I'm going to go skip ahead to the chase. And altogether it was over 80 calls. I contacted him again after a couple of weeks. I wanted to see, the pattern. Tell me, "Frank, I'll reach out to them. Don't worry." That's one of their tactics again. So another week or so, I was getting, really upset, really ticked off. So, what did I do? I called him again, and he said, "We're going to make them stop," and then it stopped. So after over 80 calls, it stopped. And they had litigation against Merrick Bank. When they started all this, from the other calls, I'm surprised they called. But I got the cardholder agreement here. And I went over this now, and I finally figured out why they did it, But with me having litigation against them, so I was surprised they called. Because the lawyer told me, he contacts them every 2 weeks about the account, you know. So what I'm going to do now that I kind of updated you on it, I went through the cardholder agreement. I had the file set up, and it's about 6 pages, you know, on both sides, and it's all, you know, they have it in 4 columns. That's like over 25 different headings, you know. So I want to pick heading number 22. Now what I did was it's fine print. It took me a few pages to do it. I'm going to try to read it, and I'm going to discuss it as I read it. This is the cardholder agreement now from Merrick Bank. Well, I'm going to have to take these glasses off. Okay? How do you like me now? Now I'm going to read it and I'm going to discuss it. I have it on the side here, but I couldn't figure the best way to do this. Okay, and this is what Merrick Bank says in the cardholder agreement. This is part 22. I'm on part 16 here myself on my stuff. Okay, it says how we may contact you, We may use an automatic dialing text message systems and electronic mail to provide messages to you about schedule of payments, missed payments, and other important information regarding this agreement of your relationship with us and your consent to our contacting you using those means is partial consideration for our willingness to extend credit to you. And you hear all that? All they had to say was, give us permission to call you using an automatic dialer, you know, and text messages. Look at all that's mumbo jumbo they said, And first of all, that's not even correct. Relationship? What relationship? You never talk to a real person there, unless you call them yourself. Okay, I'm going to continue on here. I'm going to keep interjecting, you know, as I read it. Okay, so they're not going to extend credit. Their willingness, to give you credit, if you allow them to call you, right? Okay, here we go. Back to this again. I think right. This is handwritten. Okay. The telephone messages may be played by a machine automatically. What is that, a robot? When the telephone is answered, whether answered by you or someone else. So who's the someone else? Me? The authorized user? Or the nurse there at the house? These messages may also be recorded by your answer machine, because I have an answer machine on here. I have one. Okay, so that's okay. I don't have any problem with that. You give us permission to call or send a text message to any telephone number you have given us, or you give us in the future, and to play pre-recorded messages or send text messages with information about the agreement over the phone. You also give permission to communicate, there we go, such information to you by email. You understand that when you receive such calls, texts, or emails, you may incur a charge from the company that provides you with telecommunications, wireless and or internet services. You agree that we may not be liable to you for any fees, inconvenience, annoyances, or loss of privacy in connection with such calls, texts, or emails. You hear all that now? More mumbo jumbo? You hear it? So they're mentioning here about the be liable, So you mean that they can call you and annoy you? It says here, inconvenience, annoyance, or loss of privacy. So they can invade your privacy, they can annoy you and all, right? And they may not be liable. I have litigation now for them for that. They're not liable, huh? What is this? This is Merrick Bank's rules. Okay, let's get back to this quite a bit here. Let's see now. You understand anyone with access to your telephone or email account may listen to or read the emails, notwithstanding our efforts to only communicate with you. That's it. That's our efforts to communicate with you. So anybody can listen to it. If a telephone number or numbers you have provided to us changes, or if you cease to be the owner, subscriber, or primary user of such telephone numbers, you agree to immediately give us notice of such facts so we may update our records. Okay, well, so that means if we change our phone numbers and I don't contact them, what's going to happen? If they find out, I guess they cancel the account, right? Some of this is not too clear. Remember, I say the fine print, that's what it was. And I wrote it so I could read it. Okay, so you're supposed to give them notice if you change your phone numbers, update it. Well, they have it on the statement. When you get the bill, it's on there. It's on the back of it. You know, when you send it out, it's for change of address. It's got the phone numbers, and it says you give permission. You agree that we may refuse to authorize purchases or cash advances or close your account if we are unable to or authorized to contact you by phone. So that means if they can't contact you by phone, they could close the account. You go to buy something even though you have available credit, what's going to happen? Well, you're not going to be able to use it then, right? But again, the way they were calling here, they don't leave a message. So how would they know if you have a different number? Say I changed the phone number, right? And there's a recording on there. Okay, so they dial it, so the recording was, and they hang up, so they wouldn't even know that was a different number. Because when you call a disconnected number, a recording usually comes up. Unless the equipment they use can detect it, maybe it can. That it's not an active phone number. I don't know about that, so. Okay, here we go. Some more. If you do not wish for us to use some particular manner of contacting you, you must notify us. However, we are required by law. Oh, they're required by law? I thought they were circumventing the system, the law. Oh, so they're aware of the law, huh? They're required by law to send you billing statements, even if you request that we stop doing so. Now, how come they say go paperless? It says go paperless on the statements. It says that, and I was paperless in some other accounts. So if there's a law, only thing was it was on email, so maybe that's allowed. They mention the law here. It's required by law, huh, that they send a statement, huh? If you advise us, that you are represented by an attorney, you must provide the attorney's name, address, and telephone number. If you do not provide the attorney's contact information, we may contact you to confirm the representation and obtain the attorney's contact information. If the attorney does not confirm to us in writing within 45 days after we contact the attorney that you or his or her client, then we will assume that you are no longer represented by the attorney, and we may communicate with you directly. Additionally, in any 45-day period passes where your attorney does not respond to communication from us, we will assume that you are no longer represented by the attorney, and we may communicate with you directly. Now this is all about this problem. Remember I mentioned it? that the call stopped in November of 2019, and they started up in January 2nd. Count the days. Now this is, I said month and a half. Okay, from 18 to 30 in November. That's 12 days, right? There's 31 days in December. You add them together, that's 43. And then the first is 44, and they start calling on the second is 45. So that they start calling. Now that's something wrong with it, because first of all, there must be a disconnect. Because he filed a litigation and they stopped the calls. So now I've talked to the attorney. He told me that he contacts them every 2 weeks. That's 14 days. So now they're saying here that they didn't have. I could see if I had an attorney and I gave them the information and he didn't contact them, they're going to assume I don't have an attorney. So, but you can see what this agreement is. It's hogwash. Now I think it's not that, because this attorney, he did all this litigation because he sent me copies of it. About making all those calls, about calling me about an account that's in somebody else's name, and all the laws they violated and all. So you mean to tell me they don't have this information? It's right there on the litigation. So now, what brainiac working for Merrick Bank decided to call again? See, this is what I kept saying, month and a half. Now I know why. Because it says it in this agreement, after 45 days. So they were contacting me, on both numbers. It was over 60 calls in 2 weeks, and I got the lawyer. He stopped it. Now he filed a litigation right away, and everything stopped. And I saw that it's got his name and everything, all his information. So you mean he's contacting them every 2 weeks? Then why would they wait 45 days? They went by the agreement and decided to call, huh? They must know something, because they only called on the landline. Why not the cell phone? And I don't even think they knew that Marie had passed away. Because either way, it says it doesn't matter who picks up the phone. That's in this agreement. Whether it was me or her or anybody else, it doesn't matter. So look at that. They started that calling again. Now, it stopped again. Now what's it going to be, 45 days? From, I think it was the 28th of January. What's it going to be, 45 more days? They're going to start up again. That would be April 12th, huh? With litigation in? They act like there's no litigation. So that's why I was reading this agreement. My lawyer didn't say it. He did tell me that, he contacts them every 2 weeks about this case. So now that's definitely wrong what they did. Now he must know about it, because after he filed all that litigation and all, and I read it all, it's definite, I have a copy of it, and he sent it to me by email. I have it all. So that's what I'm saying. The way they do the things here, I thought they were retaliating against me because I'm the one, that filed the complaint against them. So I figured, what are they doing? Well, they figured we're going to keep calling them. The case is pending and all. I don't know what's going to happen with this. That's why I'm going over all this. Let me see here. Where was I here? Oh, yeah. That they're going to call an attorney? I gave them the information. Okay, so say I call Merrick Bank. I said I have an attorney. I have to contact him. I give all the information. Okay, so they couldn't contact him, and 45 days passed, and they can't prove that I had retained an attorney. So then they start the calls then. Okay, back to this. Let's see, how much more is there? Oh, this is it, the last page. You recognize that there is an established business relationship between you and us. Contacts with you about your account are not unsolicited and might result in information we obtain from you, or otherwise, if you ask us to disclose your account with someone else, you must provide us with documents that we ask for and are acceptable to us. In our sole discretion, you agree that we may, in our sole discretion, monitor or record telephone calls with you. I don't know how they're not doing that. It's anything but doing that. What they were doing is just ringing the phone and nobody's there. They don't leave no message or nothing. All robocalls. So back to this. We may, at our discretion, preserve records of written and voice communications with you, but we do not promise to maintain such records for any period of time. You agree that we may, in our sole discretion, engage the services of an unrelated third party for the purpose of proving alternate format materials for persons who are usually impaired or providing language translation. All communications should be mailed to us, to the arbitration manager at Merrick Bank. I have that address there. Now that's something about, so because Merrick could speak Spanish, so I guess they're going to get an interpreter or third party. Third party, that's the reason why, when you owe the money, that's the reason why. Let me put back this again. I feel more comfortable with this. See here, put this on. It's just like my mirror, this camera. Okay, I think that looks all right again. Yeah. Okay, so now you read that agreement. Let me straighten this out here. And you heard how I disputed it. That's what I've been doing. I've been going over all this stuff, and it's a lot, I'm sure the lawyer knows all about it. He's dealing with Merrick Bank for a long time, I'm sure. This is not the first time this situation, he knows how to do it. He knows that that's the tactics they use, that they're doing to try to collect these bills, They call it it's just tactics, and it's something that they do. You can see it. Now, this agreement is contrived, First of all, it's so small to print. I had to rewrite it so I could read it to you, so I could go over it. And that's only the section about contacting you. When they send this pre-approved, double the credit line, why didn't they send that cardholder agreement with it? So now you read all that, maybe you would have read it, and you say, I don't think I want this account, I'm going to have to go through all that. So they don't do that. They wait. You get the cards in the mail, then they send it. So that means you're approved and all. So you don't even read it. So you go ahead and use the cards, and also you're bound by that agreement then. This agreement, I think it varies from bank to bank. The way that's written up. I could take just that one portion, and I could write it better than that. But they're using these words. Their sole discretion, huh? Well, because they're giving you the money. They think they own you, I guess. Got power over you. And the laws? They mention the law. According to the law, they got to send a statement. Okay, if they're going to abide by the law with that, why don't they abide by the law with all those calls? They mention annoying and everything. They know what it is. This situation is why I've been so upset. When this happened in November, and they start making all those calls, I got the lawyer and all, and he stopped it. And not only that, he's got litigation against them, for making these calls. Now I'm going to go with the lawyer part now. His lawyer's name is Paul Mankin, and his services are free. Consultation is free. He doesn't take any money. If he wins the case and you get money. Now, if you win the case, that means they don't call you anymore. They could mark the account paid. He gets paid, and the court costs get paid by the bank. But again, if like this case he has now, say we don't win, say it's thrown out, who knows? What could happen here? That means he did his services and he didn't get paid. You don't have to pay him, sort of a contingent basis, a little bit different, because you're not going to have to pay him. If he doesn't get paid because of the case, didn't go through, well, he lost on that. He did his services for nothing then. But that's how much of an advocate he is for the consumer. So it's good to keep all this in mind. So now his name is Paul Mankin, M-A-N-K-I-N, and I'll give you his toll-free number, 800-219-3577. That's 800-219-3577. So keep it in mind. I'm going to have all his address and everything in the description. You know, even though I'm explaining everything here. So if you're having problems with Merrick Bank or any bank, give him a call. I'm sure he can help you. If it's Merrick Bank, more than likely he can. Other banks he works with too. So you don't give up because it's not Merrick Bank. But if you would get any kind of offer in the mail from Merrick Bank, I think I would toss it if it was me. Because be very careful, because you know, once they get you, like they said, the relationship with them, right? They got 1 million customers, over 1 million, whatever. How are they going to have a relationship when they don't even call you? They don't have a human being calling you. They have the robot calling you. And you can see right now what with those calls. It says in there about the calls, but that's not right the way they say it. About, they're going to leave a message. I think they're supposed to leave a message. I'm going to say like this, according to the law. That's why you could record it and they could leave a message, and the message is supposed to have in the recording to stay on the line, and we're going to connect you to a representative. They don't do that. They're not doing that. And they called me in November of 2019. It was 19 calls on the cell phone and 43 on the landline. And all the calls, they use 6 different numbers. And their name is displayed on the landline, Merrick Bank, and one of those numbers. I call on the numbers, it goes to the call center with a recording of another robot. What's it say? Your call is going to be recorded for quality assurance, and the next representative will be with you shortly. Now, it's already on there. They mention in that agreement about that. Okay, so what happens? On the cell phone, that's why this law about calling with the auto dialer on the cell phone, because it doesn't come up. Their name doesn't come up on there. The number does, and it might say Pennsylvania or something like that, or New York. On a cell phone, now if they use an 800 number, it might just be an 800 number with no name. So what I did was I went into the contacts on the cell phone, and I took that number and I put Merrick Bank. I knew it was Merrick Bank because I got the numbers from the landline. Going to be back to the phone log. It's important that you do that. You are getting the calls, you're still getting them, and you haven't started a phone log, it's still not too late. Set it up with the day, the date, the time, the number they're using to call you, and any comments. It's very important to have all this information. Because if you contact a lawyer, he's going to need that information. He can tell by how close together the calls were. I was getting, let's see, going to January 2020. I was getting about 4 calls a day. And they didn't call on Sunday. Wasn't that nice? They called on Sunday before, in November of 2019, but not this time, huh? Now it's just Sunday, no good. They didn't call on Sunday. They called Saturday 4 times in the evening, right? Close together. Sunday, no call. Monday, no calls. Wow, look at that. Maybe they decided to stop, or the lawyer got to them. No. Monday afternoon and evening, there's the 4 calls. So I say it's important to keep track of that. I wouldn't know all of that. So if you're going to make a phone log, you should have a separate sheet for each phone number, like for the cell phone, separate sheet, and for the landline, separate sheet. Just put Merrick Bank on top, whatever the bank is. If you have more than one bank, keep it all separate, because you're going to be a lot harder to try to put those, make that list. Now, I don't know about other banks, but Merrick Bank uses the same number, like, say it's a Monday. That day they use the same number to make the calls, and the next day another number. So I noticed that. I said, instead of using 4 lines, on the phone log, I decided to do it different. So on the first line, I put the date, the day, the number they used, and any comments. Because that's all the same. Then on the next line, I just put the calls. You have plenty of room on the next line. You could fit about 6 calls. And if not, go to the next line. But just put the times. 1:15 p.m., 2:30 p.m., 5:36 p.m., 8:47 p.m., so forth, And you'll see the pattern, by doing that. And it'll be a lot easier. That'll only take you 2 lines instead of 4 or 5 or whatever. So I found that made it a lot easier to do it. So if you're another way you could do it, if you don't want to, like to write and do all that, well, you can go into the computer. I went under email. I don't know. There's other ways to do it. I went under email, and where it says subject, I put in Merrick Bank, phone log, and you can always change that later. Then I went down and I started it up. I started the lines like I told you. 1 line for the day, the date, and the comments and the number they use on 1 line, and then type it right in. It's easier on the computer to type it than write it, and type the calls. You could skip a line, and you could keep a phone log in there. When you get done, I think anything you touch there, it goes to draft, the back button or anything. So now it's draft. So when you go in there and you want to add to it, you just hit draft. When you go in the email, it'll come back up again. Pick up where you left off and keep typing. Now you say you finally have that done and the lawyer wants it. All you got to do is punch in his email address. And you could add anything you need to go in there. Besides, you can still type stuff in that he wants on the bottom, or scan it down and type above it, You can go to the entry and then hit enter a couple times. You'll have a space and type in and still keep the phone log where it is. Okay, so that you'll have it done by doing it that way. Sounds like a lot, but it's important. You want the calls and stuff. If you don't mind those calls, well, see, for me, I know what it was. I know it's annoying calls because I'm experienced with that. I have a lot of experience, so I know that. So I just know to keep track of it all. So this is why I say what's been happening. I want to let everybody know. You don't have to take it. And I'm directing all these videos to anybody out there that's having a problem with Merrick Bank or any bank. I've been doing that. That's the reason why I'm doing so many, because I figure every time I put one out, I'm going to get some new people. I can tell by the views. It keeps it fresh, in other words. And up to date, too, because this time I went over that cardholder agreement. It took me a while to do that, to go over that, write it down and all, so I could read it here. And I still kept the same thing, the same routine I do. And I just want to add I have some other things I'll be doing, Of course, if any changes happen, it looks like they're going to drag this out. Because it can go to a jury trial. And I don't think they want that. And me doing all these videos? Because I share these videos with the lawyer. Of course, I let him know. I told him, if you don't think I should be doing this, I'll stop. If he tells me to stop, I'll stop. If Merrick Bank tells me to stop, I won't. Then I'll do it more. So I'm just kind of getting all this out there. And I know, this video that I'm making, all these videos, they're on YouTube. And I'm sharing it to Twitter. Because I can put another comment in there, about it, about what these videos are. And yourself, on YouTube, if you look up anything on YouTube, it's got, it might say, like on mine, it might say, 1 day ago, 2 days ago, month ago. So I've been doing a lot of videos besides this. Not just this. I've been doing videos from my own varied interest that I have. You can punch my name in on YouTube. Just put Frank Leeper, L-E-E-P-E-R. All my videos will come up, including these, the ones I'm doing now, but it's going to be mixed in with other videos. They just want to have all mine. I know why they do it, so that anybody's looking that stuff up, you won't have all the same persons together, because you don't want from the same person. You have other things you're looking for. There's a lot of stuff on harassing phone calls. You can punch that in too. But mine are a little different, because I'm explaining more, about it. Some of them are just people who call other people and harass them, not necessarily, with these creditors. So now we have a situation here different than most people. Now, if you got two people married, one has the account and you're the authorized user, and the person passes away, like Marie did, that account passed away with her. It's uncollectible. Merrick Bank would have contacted us, the first month or so when the late fee went on, had a real person call, and I would have told them. They would have said, yeah, I know, they're going to ask me for the death certificate and all, and they would realize they can't collect it, so they wouldn't have made all those calls, and I wouldn't have had a lawyer, and they wouldn't have called me again, and I wouldn't be doing all these videos. Yeah, that could have all been stopped if they tried to find out when somebody's late why they're late, instead of just starting all those calls. That's a mistake on their part, I think, but I guess because they get away with it, they keep doing it. Now, the cases that they have to pay, like maybe this one, I don't know, well, it's the cost of doing business, huh? So instead of getting to the root of the problem, they go ahead and keep going with it, huh? Because they got their lawyers, their legal team and all. But the lawyer I have, he's in San Diego, and I'm in Philadelphia, PA, so it doesn't matter. He's had cases with me before and all, and they went through. It was no problem. The laws are the same for debt collectors and creditors everywhere. Because if it wasn't, they say, oh, I'm going to move to that city because I don't have to worry about the laws. So it applies to all the locations. So, because these banks have all over the area, everywhere, accounts. So it doesn't matter that he's in San Diego and I'm in Philadelphia. So just letting you know that. So if you call, with a time change, there'll be a recording. You can leave a message and he will call you back. I know because he's done it already, and he has other lawyers working there besides, and secretary and all. So don't keep on it, I'm trying to encourage everybody. You don't have to put up with it. They are harassing you. If you feel harassed, then you're harassed. And because the law doesn't, speaking of the law, because I know Merrick Bank knows the law, of course they do. They're not abiding by it either. They're getting away with it. So if they have to pay settlements, okay. That's their punishment. So, you have to have an attorney to do this, because he has access to the legal system. And he knows the laws, and he knows these unethical practices, And he knows that Merrick Bank does it. He probably knows that they shouldn't have been calling me after he put the litigation in. So what did they do? Somebody there. So 45 days. They went by that, huh? Oh, we can call them in 45 days because the lawyer didn't contact them. Well, the lawyer did, because he did contact them, put in the litigation, and he must know something about it, because he told me he contacts them every 2 weeks. So there's something wrong with that. I'm going to keep, doing my research on it. It's not what I say or what I do. It's what the attorney and the laws, that apply here. That Merrick Bank and any other bank that wants to use unethical tactics, they got to be held accountable. The only way, get lawyers like the one I have, and more people got to step forward, and make them feel it, You know yourself, if Merrick Bank or any bank starts getting too many complaints, too much litigation, they know they're going to have to do something about it, because they won't be able to stand it. They think nobody knows about this. They think that it's one person here might know. A lot of people think, well, they don't get a lawyer because they think it's going to cost more than what they owe. Well, that's not the case. Again, the lawyer I have, his name is Paul Mankin, Mankin. Toll-free number, free consultation, 800-219-3577. That's 800-219-3577. See, I've been endorsing him for a while, because I appreciate so much for what he does. And all these testimonials that I give, I'm not paid for it. I've been paid for it, just by all the work he's done for me and the way he's helped me. If it wasn't for him, I don't know what I would have done. That's why I'm glad I'm doing these videos. Like I said, they'll be on YouTube from now on in. I see videos on there years. It tells you, how long, 6 years, 10 years, whatever. These videos I've been making now, they may be on YouTube after I'm passed away, I just want to get this resolved, very important, so that it might help somebody out there. Maybe a lot of people think I'm a crackpot. Well, I don't care what you think. If you don't like it, you don't have to view it at all. They're on there. Anybody can view it if you want to. I just came up with this gimmick, I think it's a gimmick. I like it. The Invisible Man versus Merrick Bank and the robot. I'm already versus Merrick Bank. I'm the plaintiff, against Merrick Bank right now. But I like the idea. I thought about it, because I figured, I could hide behind a disguise, right? Merrick Bank, what's this relationship they talk about? What relationship? They got the machinery, and human beings are programming, and you got robots. You could say a robot dialing it. They don't even need, pretty soon they won't even need the customer care representatives. Maybe they'll do it all by machine. They won't need those people. Because what do you need them for? You're calling, there's another recording, and it says your call may be recorded for quality assurance, because I called them. I decided to give a call just to see what they're going to say, with all those numbers and all. So I picked one. I recorded it, just like I'm recording now. It's on one of the videos that's out there. Before I start doing this Invisible Man gimmick, Yeah, the recording came on, the robot, about the call being recorded. Representative comes on, the customer care person who sounded like she didn't care and don't even want to be there, So at first, as soon as she picked it up, oh, how can I help you? And I said to her, this call is being recorded for quality assurance. And she says, I don't agree. Then she changed her mind. She said, okay, give me the account number, the last 4 digits of this primary card's holder Social Security. I gave it. Who are you? I'm an authorized user. I gave my name. He said, what are you calling about? She don't even know. I said, isn't it on the screen? No. I said, well, the card holder passed away. And I was paying the bills, and I can't pay now. And she says, well, it's not on here. It's not on there, huh? I said, what is on there? In so many words. I have it recorded, so I'm just giving you a summary of it. So then she says, and she puts me on hold. I guess I put her on the spot, so she puts me on hold. When I told her about Marie passed away. He comes right back. He puts that funny music on. It was loud, too. They have that loud, but her, she wasn't as loud as that was. So she come back and said, well, we need the death certificate. You can maybe email it if you can make a copy, and email it. Or I'll give you an address and you can mail it. I said, well, I'm not doing that. I have a copy of it, and I'm not going to do that. I'll have to check with my attorney. There's a case pending. I don't want to do anything like that to mess it up. Might not do anything, but they already were calling me and all up to that point, so I said no. And I said to her, she said, anything else? I said, yeah. You don't give me any condolences. You don't say you're sorry for my loss, but are you sorry for Merrick Bank's loss? Oh, no, she said, no. They don't care about the money. Oh, no? Then why are they calling me like that? So she said, anything else? I said, no. I had enough. Whatever I said, I have it recorded, so if I need to, have it. That brings up another point. If you do call these banks, and anything you say to them, you can record it. Let them know that you're going to record what's being said. So if you tell them not to contact, you only want to be contacted by, by mail, and you have an attorney, and you give them that information. Now, if they contact you after you told them that, that's a violation of the law. That's what's important, to keep track of these things. So you'll have it, because, you're not going to, if you need it and you don't have it, that could be the difference of winning the case, They're getting away with it now. I know years ago it was different. They would call you and they would talk or leave a message, you know. I used to get calls like that a long time ago. I think about 30 years ago. I was behind on the bills, you know, just like I was from time to time. I was working and Marie was working. A woman calls me at 7:30 in the morning. She asked me, I said, yeah, what do you want? She said, this is so-and-so bank. When do you think you're going to pay us? You owe the money, and you have to pay. If not, we're going to take action against you. You mean you can't pay $10? You're working and all? I said, what do you get off of talking to me like that? You're just a person making calls at 7:30 in the morning? I think that might be before they had this law about they can't call you before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m. So that's probably that. I know that wasn't in effect then. So a lot of laws now, they've been out there a little while. I think some of them have to be a little bit more revised. Because, see, the Consumer Protection Bureau and Trade Commission and all, they don't intervene. Unless they get a lot of complaints, then they might. They might tell the credit card company or debt collector, tell them that they have to, be fined, or they're going to have to stop doing that. They get enough complaints. But you're supposed to get your own attorney. That's the whole purpose of it. Those laws that know the laws. You can contact them and put a complaint. See, I contacted the Pennsylvania Attorney General here. Even though I had an attorney, I just did it because I think, I explained it just like I'm explaining here. I wrote it all out and explained it, and I got an answer. And they said they're going to contact Merrick Bank and give them 21 days to comply with, with my complaint. If they don't, they may take further action. Or I'd have to get an attorney, but I contacted them. I have an attorney already, and I have a case against them. I want to see, this was just the last week, I want to see if Merrick Bank's going to contact this Attorney General, huh? See how they smart they're going to be, even though this is Pennsylvania and they're in Utah. But I don't think it matters. They're being contacted about their unethical tactics, about those calls. Because the Attorney General answered me because I gave them copies of all the phone logs and all that I have. Just to say about having that, I guess they saw those calls. And what I said about it, how they stopped calling and started again and all. And they sent them all that information. So now Merrick Bank, huh? 45 days, huh? What's going to happen? They start calling me again? It's going to be April 12th. I have the date. From the time they stopped in January till then it comes to April 12th. No, but I know that the attorney I have has been contacting them. I think there's like a disconnect there. Because he's contacting them in California where he is. And they're in Utah and they have other locations, so I don't know. Maybe there definitely was no disconnect. Because the calls did stop when he put in the litigation. But maybe there's another department there that kicked in, with the computer in 45 days. It might have been automatically set like that, and then it started again. That's all going to come out eventually. But you see, I've got to the bottom of that right now, by me reading that cardholder agreement. Like I said, I might go over it again. But what I just mentioned here, I don't want to go through that again. I know my attorney knows that. He has expertise in this, He's been doing this a while too. He's been in business quite a while. He's got an established business. And he's got people working for him, and the other people, his staff and all. They're very good too. I've talked to them. So like I said, you need to have an attorney. Again, I'm going to say it. Keep a phone log and any information, any bills, anything you have. Keep it. You might need it if it's a big case. I think that's pretty much going to say now. But okay, one more thing. Since I'm doing this, because maybe you hadn't viewed any of my videos. This is the first time. Okay, even though the attorney stops all the calls, right? And you feel relieved, you got some relief, but you still owe that money. Keep that in mind. It doesn't absolve you from owing that money. The only way you won't owe that money is when the statute of limitations in your state runs out. In Pennsylvania, it's 4 years. Other states is different. It could be 3 years, it could be 7 years. I don't know all that. You got to find that out. Now, all the accounts that I had last year that the lawyer took care of, they stopped calling and all. And those accounts now, in less than 4 years, they're going to be uncollectible. They're going to be legally forgiven. So I won't have to worry about them. It may go on the credit report. Remember, the credit report, I think, is 7 years for all that. Anything with credit. So I won't worry about that right now, because I'm not planning to get any more credit right now. I had enough of credit right now with this Merrick Bank. I just mentioned all this stuff. I think, there should be some changes here, but I don't think, the Consumer Protection Bureau, the Federal Trade Commission, Better Business Bureau, I don't think they really want to change too much. They might make it worse. Depending, because these, I guess, unethical banks, they're going to try to find ways around it, I think the way it is pretty much set right now. Because first of all, if they did do things, like I say they made up a cardholder agreement, right? That everybody has to use it, right? All the banks have to use it. Merrick Bank, that's for them. I'm sure the other banks don't have that, like that, exactly. Some things, they wrote it to cover themselves, That's why they did it. That could be shortened and all. It's too long, too much. And that fine print. So I think it would probably stay about the way it is. The only thing, it's set up for us consumers to complain, That's why I contacted the Attorney General here in Pennsylvania because of that. I have that pending now too. Because if they don't contact them, they can't make them contact them, but it's just another mark against Merrick Bank if they don't. Because they're going to have that down, in their file. So pretty much that covers it. Now again, my situation is going to be different than a lot of situations. But if someone out there, say a couple like us, been together, we're living together as man and wife for over 40 years. We don't have a marriage license. We each have our own name and accounts. Someone out there, and then one of them, like Marie passed away, and you have an account like we did, where I'm the authorized user and she was the cardholder, you can't be held for that. You can't be held responsible. They can't do nothing to me about that. I can do to them for making those calls, yeah. But they can't really get nothing from me from that account. First of all, it's in Marie's name. So I don't have to worry about statute of limitations or anything. It's uncollectible. So nobody can collect that. She's deceased. But the problem with it is, what's going to happen is, it's a zombie debt. I keep mentioning that. I like that. Mention that. That it's uncollectible. They'll probably have to write it off, whatever. But now, since Merrick Bank is so unethical, they'll probably put it in bundles with other debts and sell it to debt collectors for pennies on the dollar. These scavenger debt collectors grab all those debts up. They start working on it, I don't know, they get a call about that debt maybe 2 years from now. Who knows? They're trying to collect it. Breathe life back into it. Make a debt that's either the person is deceased, it's written off, it's uncollectible, past the statute of limitations, whatever it is, they're trying to collect it. That's another reason they don't want to change the laws too much. Because it'll put the debt collectors out of business, the credit card companies, and they all pay taxes. So, and not only that, how about the lawyers? If there's people being late, they won't need lawyers. There won't be debt collectors, there won't be nothing to collect. So that's why I think the way it is now is pretty much the way it's going to be. There may be some modifications. If there's enough complaints. Because if you contact the Better Business Bureau on Merrick Bank, they got hundreds of complaints. And, this lawyer I have knows it too. It's in his advertisement that he uses. So, keep everything I said in mind, and I hope that I help somebody today with this video. I'll probably be doing some more, I know this is the 16th one I've done. And over a short period of time, too. Because I was doing this in January, right when they start calling me, but I wasn't doing this particular gimmick, So they're all out there too. There's plenty of them. So just keep it in mind. Like I said, you don't have to put up with it. I'll give you the lawyer again, because in case you don't read the description, you could read the description while I'm discussing this, the video. You could read the description. His name is Paul Mankin, M-A-N-K-I-N, for a free consultation. And toll-free number is 800-219-3577. 800-219-3577. Give him a call. Nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Everybody enjoyed this presentation, and have a great day.